Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and soon-to-be Beyond Light intel. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a very easy farm and glitch that will allow you to get the heavy exotic grenade launcher, the Anarchy. You're going to want to take full advantage of this now because the Scourge of the Past raid will be leaving us at the end of the season. Going to get to all the information regarding this farm and glitch in just 1 second, but first I just want to remind everybody, I'm still doing the giveaway on my YouTube channel. The next one will be at 50,000 subscribers. All you have to do to be entered into that giveaway is like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the notifications, the bell that's right next to the big red subscribe button, and follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. I also encourage everybody to go ahead and join the Discord channel if you're looking for any help in any of the things that we discuss on this channel. And as always, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll have a secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section to be entered into that giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags, they stack between all videos, so if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, why not go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. Before we get started, I want to give a few shout outs to all the members of my raiding clan that were helping me out with this particular farm. Big shout out to my buddy Lord Cognito and everybody else over at the Iron Lord podcast. They do a great gaming podcast every Sunday, so I suggest you go check them out. They'll be linked in the description box. Also, big shout out to my buddies Gaming Addict and Gaming Forte, fellow YouTubers. They'll also be linked in the description box. And then members of my raiding clan, shout out to my buddy Hans, my buddy Sinister, who everybody should know by now, my buddy Cat Daddy Lurks, and a personal friend of mine, Super Tactical Urban Dino. He was helping us out with these runs. Okay, so now let's get into the farm first. To farm out this particular encounter, the first thing you're going to need is the checkpoint. You can do this by either acquiring a checkpoint from a LFG group or simply doing the raid up into the actual boss encounter. But once you have the boss encounter, you won't have to do the raid again. Simply save the boss encounter. This can be done by having multiple players load in to the actual boss checkpoint and then simply swapping out after the completion. You could use one character to do this, you can use multiple characters to do this, it's up to you. But just make sure that when you complete the raid or complete this particular encounter, you have at least one checkpoint saved on another character, or have a member of your fire team have the checkpoint saved on another character. This will allow you to continually do this encounter over and over again. And because the way the raids function now, where you used to only be able to get the boss chest once per character per week, you can now essentially farm it out as many times as you want, as long as you have the checkpoint. So rather than 3 total runs, you can do infinite runs. It took me about 7 runs to get my Anarchy, but overall we were able to do about 10 runs every hour. Almost nobody in this particular group that I was running with on the day had the Anarchy on the onset, but by the end everyone had it. Some people got it on their first runs, some people got them after I did, but all in all it was a great day of farming. So that covers the farm. The next thing is the glitch. Now, if you've never done this particular raid before, there's a few things you're going to want to know. 1, the boss will essentially wipe you if you don't have people shooting at him constantly. That's because there are damage nodes that appear on the boss that need to be taken out, or he will wipe the entire group. So you're going to need at least 3 people shooting at him at all times to make sure that all these damage nodes are taken out as soon as they form. A 4th person will be helping those 3 initial people, as well as reading the map. There is a map that is at the checkpoint or the spawn point of this particular encounter. That person will be in charge of doing 2 things: multitasking, helping the snipers hit the damage nodes, as well as making sure he doesn't get killed by the adds that will spawn, including a large servitor in his area, and assisting the 2 other runners that will be running around to pick up the batteries from the berserkers. The berserkers are yellow bar enemies that spawn around the map. The person who reads the map will know where these berserkers are spawning at any given time, and it is random. And we'll also know where the batteries, which each of the two runners will pick up, need to be deposited. There are 3 points on the map that the batteries need to be deposited. Sometimes both batteries are deposited into the same point, sometimes different points. A great way of knowing where to go is have the two runners pick up the 2 batteries that drop from the Berserker at different times. This will cue the first checkpoint and allow the map reader to tell that individual where to run to. Then pick up the second battery and the map reader can then tell that person where to run to. A good way to not mess up. If you pick up both batteries at the same time, both checkpoints will be triggered simultaneously and you'll basically have to guess. And if you guess wrong, you have to repeat the whole process, allowing more time for the boss to potentially wipe you if the snipers are not doing their job. But at the very least, you're going to give the snipers more work. So now the downside to the runners is that once the batteries are deposited, the 2 runners are essentially nulled. They cannot go and pick up 2 more batteries, and you're going to need to deposit 4 before you can actually do damage to the boss. This is because once a battery is deposited by any given player, they have a cooldown for almost 2 minutes. So you would need to swap out 2 of the snipers with the 2 battery runners. The 2 battery runners would then have to go and do the sniping, whereas the 2 snipers would then have to go and pick up the batteries. This can get complicated. It might not sound it, but before we actually figured out this glitch, we were running it normally, and we were having quite an issue with that swap. So let's alleviate that problem. Behind the map, at the initial spawn point, there is a small little corridor. You can see it on the screen, where you can actually get a Joining Allies loading zone. This is because, for some reason, at this particular point, the game registers the 2 people or individual at this point as being too far away from all his other players or everybody else in the particular encounter, so it will actually reload you into the encounter. It's very strange. It's kind of like being pulled if you're doing a dungeon or a nightfall. You get to skip everything between where your allies are and where you are. This is the same here. Now, you don't actually have to run that far away from your allies, simply into this back corner. The interesting thing about this is, once you rejoin your allies, the buff will be completely wiped off of you. This alleviates the need to have 2 sets of runners. You'll only need 1. So, once the 2 initial runners go and deposit the batteries, they simply run back to home base, which is where the map room is, into this little corner, get the joining allies, let them go through that 3 countdown process, rejoin the allies, and then you can repeat the process. Go pick up 2 more batteries. This makes the whole thing quite a bit quicker. Once 4 batteries are deposited, you'll get a tank to spawn on the map, shoot the tank at the boss, and then you can do damage to him. A couple of things to know about the damage phase is, though the initial damage phase will just require you to shoot at the servitor that pops out of the belly of the boss, later on there will be a damage buff that gets registered. You'll know because they say in the bottom left corner of your screen. These damage buffs will be one of 3, either angular, continuous, or parallel. 2 players will get each. So, of the 6 people that you're in a raid with, each buff will get assigned to 2 specific players. If you're not standing next to the other player that has this particular buff, you will die. You'll still be able to do damage to the boss, but you will die. It'll drain your health. So, you have to make sure that whoever has angular, you're standing next to. Whoever has parallel, you're standing next to. And whoever has continuous, you're standing next to. 2 each. This buff changes halfway through the damage phase. So, you might start off with angular, and then it might switch to parallel. You then have to switch to wherever the other player who has parallel is. Or again, your health will be drained and you will die. A good way to do this is simply space out in front of the boss, facing him. The method is done differently between different raid groups. Some people assign this differently, but when we were doing it, I believe we had angular in the middle, continuous on the left, and parallel on the right. But it just matters that you're next to the other player who has that buff. Another thing that you want to keep in mind when taking out the berserkers who drop the batteries is that you can only do damage to the berserkers once you've removed their shield. You remove their shield by punching or shooting damage nodes that are on their front, chest, and back. You have to do this simultaneously, otherwise you will not be able to do damage to them. And that's going to be pretty much it. Repeat that process as many times as you need to farm out your Anarchy. Going to leave you with the rest of the gameplay now. Hopefully you enjoy. Stick around till the end for that secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you then. And thanks so much for watching all the way till the end of the video. For the secret hashtag, you can leave in the comments section. Leave a hashtag BeyondLight or a hashtag Anarchy or any of the other things that we talked about or discussed in this video. Make sure to check out everybody who's linked in the description box, all their YouTube channels and social media. Great group of people. One more big shout out to everybody on that list: Lord Cognito, Gaming Addict, Gaming Forte, Hans, Sinister, my buddy Lord Kaibatsu, and Super Tactical Urban Dino. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, we will see you in the next video. Later!